lead singer named Justin Moore.
We don't do a whole lot of bullshitting up here. We just get up here and play country music. Hey guys, today's podcast is sponsored by Bobcat Company. Check them out at bobcat.com.
There he is. Now we can hear him. There he is. What's up, Quinn?
He's rocking that Alabama top.
Got to, baby. It's my first
Alabama top work. Man.
First time home in a month, man. Good to be back home in sweet home Alabama.
Oh, damn, you got that Alabama top work.
We all bleed red. You know what I mean?
My man.
Roll Tide, Woo Pig Suey. We're going to get that
What's
in
up,
there.
Q?
What's going on, Mr. Moore? What's happening, baby?
Nothing, man. How are you?
Shoot, I tell you all what's happening. Arkansas Razorbacks whooped up on them Texas Longhorns this weekend. I tell you that happened. I guarantee.
So our guest today, to Arkansas fans and to Southwest Conference fans, needs no introduction. Number 4,
Yeah.
Quinn Grovey. We're gonna have him tell us about the time he put the smackdown on Andre Ware, and among many other things. You got some cool stuff going growing up Grovey. I want to talk about that. We'll start with the game though, like JR was just touching on. So as everybody out there listening knows, I'm a huge Razorback fan, obviously, and JR's an Alabama fan. We don't even have to talk about them. We know they're going to win by about 60 every week, so it doesn't really matter. Arkansas had it's I don't know. Would you say it's the biggest win in the last decade, Q?
Yeah, I mean, it was a big one. I mean, considering looking at, Texas being a rival, considering Texas coming into the SEC, and the hatred that Arkansas has for Texas, it was a big one. They were ranked number 15 in the country, so it was a big one. I think the Cotton Bowl win was a big one when Tyler Wilson and Jarius Wright lit up the Cotton Bowl. That was a big one. But for this program moving forward,
our 11th win,
for this program moving forward, considering where we've been, that's the biggest win in the last decade for sure.
Yeah, that may be a better way of looking at it. Just from a program standpoint, where we have been over the last maybe 7, 8, 9 years, and the dreary outlook for so long until Coach Pittman got here.
Yeah.
That's Saturday was the happiest I've ever seen Justin since I've known him. And I'm just gonna let you know. I ain't known y'all just as long as y'all. I've known Justin like 8.5 years now.
Yeah.
And that's the happiest I've seen him since we became buds. And I see him on a daily basis. He was was a good moment.
It was the timeliest win in a long time. Maybe that's a way to put it. You know, I mean, I don't think it. And Quinn obviously is a professional here, not me or JR, but I don't think it was absolutely necessary that you win that game. But boy, it really does help kind of get things. Yeah. It kind of helps things move forward a little quicker than maybe what they could.
Yeah. Well, the problem is, Justin, as you know, man, we've had a lot of conversations about Razorback football over the years, and we've always lost this kind of game. We've always lost this kind of game in the last few years. And so to finally flip the script and not only just win the football game, but completely dominate the game, that made it even better. Texas came in with that old Big 12 soft mentality. Arkansas has an SEC mentality. And I think that was the difference. I mean, it was punch in the face time and time again, and Texas could not deal with it. You could tell Texas was a softer team, and coming into the SEC, they might as well get used to that, because that's going to be something they're going to get all day long.
Yeah, no pun intended, but those big hogs down on the line, that's where it all happens in the SEC. I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
Both sides. You control the line of scrimmage, you run the ball, manage the clock, you make the plays you're supposed to, stay out of penalties. That's SEC ball right there. Play it the right way. And you're right, Quinn. Y'all dominated beginning to end of the game. Yeah. And I think too, I'd throw this in there while we're talking about it, coming off of last year, not having full stadiums, not having a regular season like everybody's used to. This year, everybody full stadiums again. Media's back, hype's back, you know what I mean? On top of it being 9/11 as well, Memorial Day for America, you know, 20-year anniversary. I think all that, and I was there. I was in Fayetteville as you and Justin. I was with Justin, you know, and being in that atmosphere with that crowd, you could feel the energy from the time I got up at daylight until we rolled out right after he got done. You know, you could just feel it. It was just like a little mini rumble going on, and you knew it was a good thing, and everybody was having fun and stuff. And I think that was a big part of it too. It just being such a, you know, early in the season, back to a regular season, full house, you know, all that stuff too.
Yeah, man. After 2020, I mean, that was a tough year, but you know, you got to give those student athletes a lot of credit because, I mean, they played in some tough environments. I mean, getting COVID tested every other day. But what they did brought a lot of enjoyment to a lot of people, man.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, I'm thankful for that, for what they did in 2020. So it's good to see the Razorback fans back. I parked my car. I was able to come down the hill, stopped at about 20 tailgates before I got to the booth. And man, people were just going absolute nuts. They couldn't, I mean, they were so happy to be back. And then after that game, it was crazy. I mean, they had to fold the goalpost down because they were going to be down on Dixon Street for sure. I promise you that.
Yeah, for those of you out there listening and watching, Quinn not only played and was an all-time great at Arkansas, played quarterback at Arkansas. He's the color guy for the games alongside our guy Chuck Barrett, who does play-by-play. And so, yeah, that's got to be the most fun you've had calling a game since you started doing it.
It's not even close. I mean, the fun we had, man, up there was it. It helped me get through all the therapeutic things I had to get through over the last couple of years, and some of those losses we've had, man. Me and Chuck had a great time calling that game, man, and it was fun from start to finish to see Arkansas play at a high level, and then just to finish it. And I was like, hey, look, I played in this game 4 times. I was starting quarterback in this game 4 times. I was 1-3 against Texas, and I was like, look, make up some points for me. Let's beat their ass by 60. Let's get 60. Let's get 60 points on the board. Make up for every former player that's lost in this game. Man, we had a good time. It's definitely been the most fun I've had doing a football game, for sure. You
were talking about obviously you had a great playing career there, and your buddies you played with and other former Arkansas Razorbacks. I feel bad. You mentioned Jay Wright earlier. He actually hit me up right before the game. I guess he thought we were still in town, and we were at the show trying to go. I didn't even get a chance to holler back at him. But did you get to see any of your buddies during the game? Who all was there at the game? Did you get to see some legends?
You know, I didn't get to see many people because I go in and we start our pregame show 3 hours early. So I head up to the booth pretty early. So I didn't get a chance to see anybody. And then normally I would have gone out, but I'm too old to go out. I mean, Justin knows that. I'm like, yeah, man, I ain't hanging. But yeah, it's one of those things where, I didn't get a chance to see many, but there were a lot of people there. I mean, there was
had to be.
Yeah, a lot of basketball team. The entire basketball team was there. You had Sterner there. You had
D-Mac
was there. Yeah, Ken Hatfield, my old coach, was there. I mean, just a lot of great people. Isaac Davis, Steve Connolly. There was a lot of people there, former Razorbacks. And, man, I tell you what, I know they had a great time after that game was over with.
And put on a good show. We actually talked to Commissioner Sankey before the game earlier that day, and I'm sure they put on a good show for him and let him know. I don't know. He might be regretting that choice to put Texas over here with the big dogs. We'll see, huh?
Yeah, that look. They're going to have a problem. Oklahoma going to have a problem.
Oh, yeah.
Trust me, I don't know what they were thinking. College football playoff every single year. All they had to do is just beat one another. And now they want to go ahead and mess that up and come on over here with the big dogs. And so Oklahoma fans, Texas fans, y'all might as well get used to having a few more losses in the column. And as far as the Big 12 is concerned, and I know they're bringing Cincinnati, BYU, all that stuff over into the Big 12. To me, that's like, and this is in you guys' realm, that's like looking at a music festival, a star on the list. You know what I mean? You know, it ain't no Justin Moore.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you dealing with some people that you don't even know nothing about. The Big 12 is a music festival with no stars.
With no headliner.
Yeah.
It's a band. Yeah. It's a band without Gladys Knight. I mean, it's just the Pips. It's just the Pips. That's all they got, man. I mean, so they're in trouble. They're in trouble.
I tell you what, man, I you're so right, because like, just as a fan, I'm going, I mean, I get everybody thinks that they want to be a part of this because the SEC is the most talked about. It's the most revered, most respected. I get it. But at the same time, like you said, I mean, they had an easy path, beat each other. If Oklahoma beats Texas or vice versa, you're in. I mean, you're in. And what it ain't like, I get they're probably going to make a little more money, but how much more money do they need? I mean, they're all, I mean.
Every time Oklahoma's gotten to the college football playoff, they get punched right in the nose. I mean, they
smacked.
They don't do nothing. They don't do anything. It's crazy.
So Q, I was on the SEC podcast last night with Jacob Hester and Chris Doring, and I asked them this question, and I'm curious to know what you think. This Texas team this year, I know they're not a juggernaut, great Vince Young type Texas team, but I think they're still a pretty good football team, right? Yeah. Above average, probably a top 20, 25 team. I in my eyes. I mean, what would they be in the conference right now? 10th best, maybe?
Easy.
8th best?
Easy.
Something like that.
Depending on which conference they were in. I mean, if they somehow did Texas a favor and put them in the East, they'd be battling Vanderbilt. I mean, for the bottom. I mean, it's just. I mean, but in the West, this Texas football team came in there 15th in the country, and they would probably be towards the bottom. I mean, we pushed them around like crazy. So yeah, they would. It's gonna be ugly for them, man. It's gonna be ugly for them.
And as a fan and of Arkansas, a guy who obviously, is known to hate Texas like the rest of our fans. When the news broke that they were coming to the SEC, I'm like, no. Now I'm starting to think this is going to be bad for their program, whether they believe it or not. And I kind of enjoyed having the rivalry back. I don't know about you, a former player.
Yeah. No,
I enjoyed it. I hope we get put in their pod.
Yeah, that makes all the sense, Justin, in the world. I mean, the one thing, we've been in the SEC for a long time, and we've been trying to find a rival. We've tried to create the Battle Line rivalry with Missouri. That really hadn't popped off. We've tried to make LSU our rival. I know you and Kate have a rivalry with that already. And we've tried to make Ole Miss a rival, and it just hadn't happened. But I think Texas especially with the way we put it on them just now, because, man, I'm telling you, I'll get back to that. But I think when Texas came into this game, normally, Justin, Arkansas is usually the team that is hyped up to play in it. I would hear all week when I first got here, man, you can't wait for Texas week. I was like, what Texas week? What is that? Nobody else talked about the entire week about another team other than Texas. We were always hyped up to play that game. And so this week, I think Texas was probably more hyped up to play this game simply because of the announcement time of them coming into the SEC and them wanting to show they belong. So I think Arkansas was carrying the flag for everybody in the SEC and everybody else across the country that hated Texas. And so I think we were a little bit more calm and we were able to handle that.
Yeah.
Truth. That's what I did. I had Justin, how long I've been saying that. When I was growing up, we only any of our Alabama, we only got to play Texas and maybe the Cotton Bowl or maybe the Liberty Bowl or something back in the day. We didn't play them every year, but Arkansas always got to play them, and they looked like us, so I was always pulling for them because y'all were the only ones that ever got a shot because we didn't like Texas either.
Yeah.
I don't hate A&M. And for the record, everybody's a rival to Justin. Justin don't like no teams. I don't like a lot, but he don't like none. But I don't hate A&M, but Texas, no way. Yeah, always. So that is, and I think, didn't Roman say that to you the other day on the thing, something like that, just, or when he announced his pick, he said something to the effect of, because we hate Texas and Alabama too, or something like that. He ain't lying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was something to that effect, and he's our age, so he gets it. But so were you surprised that and we'll get off this game for all those out there listening. I know you don't want to hear the total recap of this, but the whole show. But were you surprised we dominated the line of scrimmage on both sides like we did?
Actually, I wasn't. And then that's just not being a color analyst for the Razorbacks. It was just like really watching the game film. They had a bunch of big guys, athletic guys, but I just didn't think they were going to be as physical. And I didn't think they were going to be as hyped. And so when you're more physical and you're more hyped, that's what happens. A beatdown takes place. And that's what Arkansas did. And, man, they ran the football for 333 yards. I mean, hey, that's hard to do on Madden, on PlayStation.
Right.
I mean, you know, that's hard,
right.
hard to do. So,
yeah. How about those freshman backs, man?
Yeah, I think the Razorback Nation was introduced to a lot. I mean, you know, you knew Traylon was going to be good. Rocket came in and did a nice job, and then you get AJ Green one off. You know, you got Dominique Johnson, another big back that pops a few off as well. So we're deep at the running back position, and there's a couple of more that you hadn't even been introduced to. So be happy about your football team. This running, it's going to be a defensive football team, and it's going to be a football team that runs like crazy. The only concern we're going to have is when we get in the SEC play and they say, hey, we're not going to let you run the football. And then they're going to say, KJ, you're going to have to beat us.
Right.
So,
right. I tell you, the one, I mean, there were so many great runs by those freshmen, but that's the first time A.J. Green had played, and that one he took to the house from it was like, I don't know, 30 yards or something, and there was a couple of guys, I think maybe a DB in particular, had an angle on him, and he just I mean, it wasn't even close. And I haven't seen speed like that since number 5.
Yeah.
You know, the real number 5.
That's right.
I mean, I was like, whoa, that was wow. That was incredible. So anyway, for Q and I, it was a great weekend. It was great for JR because I wasn't moping around the bus for a change. So
I know. I wish it would have happened about halfway through our 8-week run, and we didn't even get to enjoy it really because we parted ways like 2 hours after it was over. It was like we didn't even get to enjoy it. We needed that halfway through the run. But anyway, it was great, man. It was a big win for you guys. I was happy. I think a lot of people agree with you guys. Yeah, Texas and Oklahoma, I don't think they knew what they were signing up for. They thought it was a good idea. It's kind of like, what was it? Everybody thinks they thinks they tough until they get hit in the mouth.
That's right.
Know?
Everybody's got a plan,
right? And I said, I've said that for a while, Quinn, about the just getting hype and having that attitude and that bouncing around and stuff. And it always seemed like they just never would come up. It's like, this is your time. This is when you're supposed to. This is when you got to go. And they never would pick it up. And even seemed like maybe even the first half of the Rice game, it didn't really have. But then it's something after halftime. It was like you saw them bouncing around, team tackles, gang tackles, people hyping each other up. And man, y'all dominated the line of scrimmage and played SEC ball.
They probably got their rear end chewed on a little bit.
That's part of it too. Yeah. Sam did not play.
And you got to love Coach Pittman. I mean, who don't want to play for that guy?
Man, the dude's one of the best. He's so chill, but he has a command of the room. He has a command of the team. He loves being there. And I think when you love being somewhere, I mean, it just kind of radiates in everything that you do, whether you even know it or not. And man, he is just like, he's owning it. And he's got a great group of coaches as well. I mean, Barry Odom, Kendall, the rest of that staff. That staff believes they can win here, and that's what you got to have.
Yeah. So, Quinn, y'all won when you were playing. Y'all won the conference twice, right?
Two conference championships, played in 2 Cotton Bowls. First one played against Troy Aikman and UCLA, and then the second one we lost to Tennessee.
What year was that, Quinn?
Against Aikman, it was an 88, the 89 Cotton Bowl, and then it was the 90 Cotton Bowl against Tennessee. And I was sitting there thinking, you know what, Troy Aikman, hey, we're together all week hanging out. I know you're gonna be the number 1 pick. I'm about to upstage you, buddy. That's what I was thinking. And then we went out and had the worst performance of my college career.
Oh,
you know, the media came out and said all week long, hey, Quinn, you're going to have to be able to throw the football against this UCLA football team I get it. I understand it. I accept that challenge. I get it. They were like, you don't have to be able to run it. You're going to have a balanced attack. I said, I'm going to give you a balanced attack. At the end of the we had one of the worst football games of my life. And they said, Quinn, you know, you didn't throw the football well. You didn't do this very well. We had 42 yards total offense. I gave you 21 yards rushing and 21 yards passing. I gave you a balanced attack. I gave you what you asked for, man. Didn't work out. So y'all don't know as much as y'all think y'all know.
Oh, man. I've been fortunate to Quinn and I've been in complete transparency. We've been really good friends for a long time now, and I've heard some of these stories over some cocktails at your house and different places. Who was the guy that you grew up with in Oklahoma? Was it Aikman? You grew up. You were telling me a story about. It might have been Aikman. Was he from Oklahoma too, or am I mistaken?
He's from Henrietta.
So that might have been him.
Which story are you talking about?
Well, it seemed like it had to do with a bowl game, or maybe when you were choosing a college or something, and there was always a guy that you were kind of maybe in high school competing with, or maybe compared to, or whatever. It might have been Aikman.
So what's funny about that? I think you're talking about Charles Thompson. Charles Thompson was a quarterback at the University of Oklahoma.
That might have been it.
And what's funny about that? He came up this past weekend. His son, Casey Thompson, was the backup quarterback for Texas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he stayed at the house. He stayed at my house. And Casey Thompson actually just got named the starting quarterback for Texas. And so they went away from Hudson Card. Yeah, we were talking about that. And when we were coming out, how it was me and Mike Gundy and Charles Thompson. We were the top 3 quarterbacks in the state. And
that's it. It was Gundy.
Yeah,
that's
Mike
right.
Gundy.
That's what it was. Okay.
Yeah, so he's the head coach at Oklahoma State now. So
the mullet guy.
That's what it was.
The mullet guy.
Oh, Gundy. That's right. Yeah, he's funny, man.
I'm a man. I'm 40. Is that him?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a man. I'm 40. I got a mullet.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
was who it was. So take us back to the Houston game.
Yeah. Oh man, we just lost to Texas the week before.
I mean, I know it, but I mean, so Arkansas, for those out there who don't know, was the only non-Texas school in the Southwest Conference, which is the conference we were in when Q was there playing. Mm-hmm. And everybody, I'm sure out there, at least I hope, knows the name Andre Ware and the year those guys were having, the run they were on. So.
Yeah.
So Q had to put him down.
I had to. Didn't have a choice, man. I mean, it didn't have a choice. You know, we had just lost to Texas. We were trying to win a national championship, man. And we were number 6 in the country. We lost to Texas the week before. And
this under Coach Hatfield?
Yeah, under Coach Hatfield. And then we're getting ready to play Houston the next week. They scored 95 points on SMU. And so, you know, Coach Crow, who's our offensive coordinator, basically said, hey, Quinn, stand up in our team meeting. He said, man, look, the team with the best quarterback is going to win this football game. And so I was like, I thought about that the entire way, man, to the stadium. And, man, we had a battle. It's probably one of the best games in Arkansas history that nobody got a chance to see because Houston was on probation. We beat them 45-39, had one of my best games. And, man, me and Andre still talk about that. One thing I love about that more than anything, Justin, is the Arkansas fans, because every time Andre comes in to do a football game for ESPN, they will not let me forget that game. They won't let. I don't care where I'm at, where I'm meeting. They won't let me forget. And I said, good, they shouldn't. So I'm excited about that. Hey, fans, if you're Arkansas fans, if you see Andre Ware, stay on it. I love it. But we're getting ready to do too, Justin. We're talking about doing a recap of that game. So when we were doing my documentary Growing Up Grovey, we came across the actual radio call with Paul Ills and Mike Nell. We've got the entire video from start to finish. And so we've laced it over with the call. So now you can watch the entire game with with Paul Ills and Mike Nell calling it. And so we're going to do something. I've talked to Andre, and so hopefully we can do something where we can sit there, watch that game, kind of talk about that.
That would be awesome, man. That would be awesome. So you mentioned the growing up Grovey, and I mentioned it earlier. So Quinn called me, I don't know, a couple of years ago now, and said, "Hey, we're putting this documentary. It's a there's a number of episodes in the series.
3.
And he goes, "Would you be interviewed in a part of it?" I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." Never heard from him again.
Oh.
It just comes out. He's promoting it. And I'm like, well, he must have got somebody better.
No. Hey, you my boy. I don't think you're telling the story completely correct. But this is your podcast,
right? We don't remember all the particulars, but we'll leave it there.
No, I'm kidding. But so where did this idea come from, though, for the show?
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of explained it to me, but just for the audience.
Well, just for the audience, man.
And where they can find it and all that stuff.
Yeah, I do college football analysis stuff for a regional cable company called Cox Sports Television. And they were like, "Quinn, man, you do some good stuff. You know, man, we need you to do more, like for you to do more." And so my partner and I, a guy named Tracy Anderson, we came together and it's like, let's start telling 30 for 30 type content for Cox. And so we talked about doing me right off the bat. And I was like, yeah, man, I don't know, man. But now I'm glad we did it that way now because I know how to put one together along with our team. And so basically it was just a chance for me to honor my parents. Really, that was the guiding force in the whole thing. We talk a lot about me. It's called Growing Up Grovey. But we say it's Growing Up Grovey, a story of family football and unconditional love. And so there's a lot about my mom and dad growing up. There's a lot of football, and you'll get an extended look at that Houston game. But the big thing is my mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's and dementia, and I was her caregiver for 10 years. And so there's a huge focus in on that. And so we really try to help people, and that's really one of my major focuses. So you don't have to be an Arkansas fan to be struck by Alzheimer's or dementia. And that's what I'm trying to do. That's why we're trying to take this thing nationwide to be able to help as many people as possible deal with that. Because when mom and dad starts acting funny, I mean, things change. And when you get that diagnosis, to me, that was the worst day of my life. When my mom was sitting in that doctor's office and they asked her to draw 10 till 2 and she couldn't do it. And I knew our life was getting ready to change. And I knew my life was getting ready to change. But she was there for me. I'm going to be there for her. And that's really what it comes down to. And that's really what that story is about her being there for me early on, all the way through. And then if she's going to be dealt this card and our family's going to be dealt this card, I look at it as a privilege to walk her through this entire battle. And we went through a lot of different variations of Alzheimer's and dementia. And so we just fought through it. And when she passed away, I was, definitely you're sad, but she's in a better place.
Right. Isn't it surreal when you get to that point where as a child you become the adult basically, and your parent becomes not a child, but more childlike and needs you. You reverse roles in a sense. And it's got, I'm not there yet, but I've seen my parents do that with my grandparents over the last decade or so. Mm-hmm. And it's I know it's a lot, but at the same time, like you kind of alluded to, or you may have even said straight up, it's an honor to be able to do that, and so.
And do so much good, unreal. And that's awesome. That's the first I heard of that, Quinn, but that's awesome, brother. And to help other people to honor your mother, I mean, that's the ultimate. I mean, that's what she'd want you to do. Yeah. I'm a mama's boy. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah, and we've been so lucky, too, man. People have reached out to me from all across the country. So, it like I said, it aired on Cox Sports Television, but they have a streaming channel called Watch, WATCH.Yourview, YURVIEW.com. All you do is scroll to the bottom, and they'll show all 3 episodes for free. I wanted to show it for free. Didn't want any type of subscription or anything like that. I just wanted people to be able to see it because I wanted them to be able to know there are some resources out there for whenever you get into this battle. And when you get into this battle, it's the toughest opponent you'll ever face. And so anytime you got somebody that can help you care for your loved one in a different or better way, man, that's what I'm all about. I made every mistake in the book. And so I want to help people not make those mistakes and understand that just hey, you got a limited amount of time with your loved one. Enjoy every second.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No doubt. That's awesome. Yeah, check that out. We need to, growing up Grovey. Quinn, we'll get all the all that terminology and stuff put on the screen. You can send it to me or whatever.
Yeah.
Make sure that's up and everything.
And we'll put a post up or something too, because everybody needs to watch that. I'm definitely going to get over. And I'm just looking up here, Quinn Grovey 4 on Twitter. You follow me, awesome, my brother. That's how we roll. So everybody should go follow Quinn Grovey 4 on Twitter. Check out his stuff there. That's a way. I'm sure you can find links to all that kind of stuff there.
Yeah, it's all on there.
So that's a good way. So Instagram, you do Instagram as well, Quinn?
Not yet. I need to. My wife is on it. Stacy's on it. I hadn't done it yet. I need to get on it though.
Yeah, we do. I do it. Justin doesn't do any anymore. He approves stuff, but we get our guy to do it because he gets too hot on them Saturdays talking to other fans when y'all ain't doing so well. We just went on and ex-nayed that.
I got in trouble enough times talking smack during basketball season to Kentucky Wildcat fans. I thought I better
tell some 15-year-old kid that
shut it down.
Tell some 15-year-old kid that his team's garbage and he doesn't deserve to ever win another ball game as long as he lives. You know, that kind of stuff. So, but we have Justin Cole Moore on Instagram and Twitter. I'm JR the Handler on Instagram and Twitter. Quinn Grovey 4 on Twitter. Y'all make sure to follow him on that. You can find the links to that stuff, and we'll put some stuff up too to make sure people can find it. Man, I know we've been talking about doing this forever. I'm glad we finally got to get you on, and we got to get you back every so often. Y'all gonna have a big old year, so we're on the road working a lot this year. You're gonna have to be our eyes and ears at the game, so maybe we can circle back once a month or something and get a little update.
Yeah, you can count on it, man.
And the other thing I want to mention, as a matter of fact, once we get done doing this podcast, I'm gonna do. Quinn has a podcast that I'm gonna do. So for Razorback fans in particular, I'm sure you're aware of it, but it's a daily podcast, correct?
Called the Razorback Daily, and you can get it at wherever you get podcasts. And it's every day. We give you. It's attached with university, so we've got all types of access. I mean, we've got coaches, we got players, we got behind the scenes stuff, and then when you get guys like Justin Moore be able to jump on. I mean, that's the cherry on top, baby. That's the cherry on top.
Yeah,
y'all. Does it air live? When will it come out? When will the episode you record come out?
So
this is going to come out on Thursday. As we record this, this is Tuesday the 14th, but this will actually come out on the 16th.
So we're doing Justin. We're going to do Justin today, but his episode is going to be Friday morning. Okay. Because he's going to be our celebrity picker. We're going to do some games. We're going to pick some games. We're going to talk about Arkansas and Texas and just his love for the state, and just we're going to chop it up, have a good time. We have fun. I mean, our podcast is about 18 to 22 minutes. We drop a lot of information. Yeah. So we drop a lot of information, have a lot of fun. And Matt Zimmerman, if you ain't met Matt Zimmerman, this dude, boy, he's off the chains. He's off the rails.
Character.
He's a wild man.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a wild man.
Yeah, I definitely have to listen to that. So that'll drop Friday the 17th, the morning Friday the 17th. Yeah. So y'all make sure to go click on and like and subscribe to the podcast. That way y'all will get it as soon as it drops.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So, I'll jump on. We'll do that today. It'll drop Friday. But something before you get out of here, Q, because I know I've got to do yours soon. Yeah. So, but anyway, something just super random. And I've talked to Shu, a mutual friend of Q and I's, and I've explained this to him, but I don't even know if I've talked to you about it. So, we have a brand new bus driver.
Good.
And
no,
you happen to know him.
No.
Yes. So my bus driver currently, which started as like a double driver for me, let me go back. So last year during COVID, and if I'm not explaining this correctly, jump in. But so last year during COVID, rather than jumping on the chartered team plane, because again, Quinn is a color analyst for and there's a group of you guys. Z's a part of that group.
Yep.
Who's also on the Razorback Daily podcast with Quinn. So they started taking tour buses because they couldn't get on the team flights because they were trying to keep everybody separated, etc. So we hooked them up with our bus company and said, "Hey, go here." Long story short, I had no idea who was driving you guys. And Eddie is his name. He starts driving me this year, and he goes, I met some boys from Arkansas. Took them to a bunch of football games, and I'm like, really, who? And he's like, I think it was Quinn, and David, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, you drove that crew around? He's like, oh yeah. He goes, man, them boys love some barbecue. And so I told Shoemaker that, and he goes, he's the one that wanted to always stop for barbecue.
That's true. True. That is true. That's amazing.
I mean, how ironic is that?
Wow.
So he's my full-time bus driver now.
Them boys like barbecue.
So when I was in Fayetteville the other day for the SEC Nation and those shows, he's the one that drove me there.
Wow.
And there was so much going on. I wish we could have connected you guys, but I just thought, I'm like, I got to tell Quinn, and I didn't think that I had yet.
Oh, so that's amazing. He's always got a story too.
Oh, yeah, great ones.
Oh. And how about his stories of being a police officer?
Yeah, the guy just shows up one day, breaks up a fight. They give him a badge and a gun. Next thing you know, he's the sheriff for 20 years or whatever. In the roughest part of Mississippi.
He's probably my height. Like
bowled up though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to mess with him.
No. And he'll tell you the story, and he'll keep going until you like give him the response, like, huh? What do you say, huh? Hey, huh?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We figured it out early because I mentioned it to Justin, and he didn't realize it first. I said, you ain't noticed Eddie does that every time he says something, huh? And he says, no, I hadn't noticed. I said, once you do, that's all you'll notice. And then, but that's his like us, like, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, he was amazing, man. We had so much fun with Eddie. It was like, if we had to do that, that was really the best way to go. And he took care of us, man. We had such fun. We would stop in random spots. We'd have a good time. But I went into, when Shu left, I went into Justin DeLille. He replaced Shu. And I was like, hey, man, look, I want to tell you right now, 2020 was fun. It was a one-time year kind of thing. I love Eddie, but I don't want to see his ass this year. I want to be on the plane. Right. I want to be on that plane with that football team,
right?
So we can get up and get down. But Eddie, man, he is one of the best, man.
You got a little glimpse into mine and JR's lives. You just thought it was glamorous.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what, it was cool, man. I've been there. And it was kind of cool, like after a game, like Florida, you finish the game, you get on the bus, you go to sleep, and you wake up and you're in Arkansas again. I mean, so yeah, you're right. I couldn't do it like you do for as much as you do. I mean, my goodness, that'd be tough. But it was like, I will say, every Friday morning when I got up and I knew we were getting ready to take a trip, it was almost like I was headed to the fraternity house. It's just like, and my boys, like, we're gonna be chilling out. It's just us. We're going to stop and eat. The refrigerator's going to be stocked, and we're going to have a great time, man. But the bus life was fun. And, man, I'm going to have to let you go on and have that
one. Yeah, nothing replaces sleeping in your own bed so, but yeah, it is kind of like that. We always say it's like what you guys do. It's like going with the ball club. It's like we're getting the team back together. You know what I mean? When it's time to go on the road, it's like, all right, we're going to place we're going to play a weekend full of double headers, or something. Then we get with the band and crew, and it's the rest of the the locker room atmosphere. That's as much fun as any of it out there on the road. You got to have something to make it fun. Yeah. You know what I mean? If you don't enjoy what you do,
that's right.
You just survive and you ain't thriving. So it's like you got to make the best.
Y'all are used to it. Y'all are used to it. Justin, JR, y'all gonna have to get me on one of those stretches with Eddie. I mean, it would be amazing.
Come on,
jump on that thing. Let's go.
You got an open invitation, brother.
You need to do it when we leave from Arkansas from Justin's house, because usually he or Kate they'll bring a big pot of beans or gumbo or chicken stew or something. So we'll have lasagna. So we'll have some good home cooked stuff for the first day or two. But this last one, I'm with you though on the. I don't want to. I'd rather not see Eddie for a little while. My dang self, and I got to see him in 2 days. But me and Justin just came off like a hellacious 7-week run. Like I ain't done in 10, 12 years.
Like hadn't been home in 7 weeks. A couple days ago.
Yesterday's the first time I've been home since the middle of July.
Wow.
To my house. The first time I turned on all this stuff. I was telling you, all my computer, all my stuff's dead. I hadn't been, my dehumidifier's full. I mean, I ain't been home in forever. I mean, all my plants are dead. My wife's been doing a great job keeping up with everything, but it's a lot, to be gone that long. Man. And today's her birthday. My birthday was Saturday, so we really ain't trying to do a whole lot this week, but still got stuff to do. Yeah. But yeah, it's we were on a long run. I could do without seeing the bus, but we glad to be working. So
yeah. Speaking of wise, when you come out, you have to bring. I'll bring some of Kate's cooking. You have to bring some of Stacy's cooking.
Oh, Stacy do that.
Stacy can get down in the kitchen too.
Absolutely, she can. I'll bring you some. One of her favorite things is chocolate gravy, and I'll bring you some of her apple dumplings. She's for real with that. Now they go crazy with that.
I bet I ate Cracker Barrel 25 times in the past month. They never get Justin's gravy right on his chicken fried steak. Hey,
no, because I like brown gravy on everything instead of white gravy. They put white gravy on it, which I like white gravy, but I just prefer brown gravy, like on a chicken fried steak. They cannot grasp the concept. It's like they're just so trained to put white gravy on it, they're just going to do it. But whatever.
Hey, well, before I know what y'all got to go, and we got to talk about a few show things. But before we let you run, Quinn, we do a thing on here. I was going to ask you about music too. We'll do it after this. Though. We do a thing with all our guests. The #1 song in country music on the day you were born.
Ooh.
And Quinn is a July 19th. Yep. 68 model.
That's right.
All right. See, I'm a 9/11/79 model, and my song was "I May Never Get to Heaven" by Conway Twitty. Justin's a 330/84, and his is "Roll On 18-Wheeler" by Alabama. Anybody want to take a stab? I tell you what, I'll give a hint that Justin's going to get out the hole. I think it's something we were just talking about, and we hope none of us three have to go through it. Female singer, huge song. Game changer song.
DIVORCE.
Yes, sir. Tammy Wynette, DIVORCE. And I hope none of us have to go through that.
And, don't want to do that.
But that was a big song, Anyway, that was a random one to pull up today. You just never know what it's going to be. But that year, that was the #1 song in the country, was a song about divorce. Imagine that.
Wow.
Must have been a pretty bleak year,
Yeah.
But anyway, that was that year. So we got that. And Quinn, when you were in high school, what were you jamming back then?
Oh man, I tell you what, I remember going on all of my recruiting visits, and y'all won't know this. Y'all too young to know. But it was a group called Ready for the World, and it was Old Sheila. I mean, that thing used to jam like crazy. And then I'd hit you with some old Cool in the Gang, some Get Down on It.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Some Earth, Wind and Fire. I mean, some of that stuff. And then I go in some of the rock. I listen to everything, man. I love music, and one of the things for y'all let me go. I love all of Justin's stuff, and one of the songs is crazy. It's a love song. I mean, it's about Justin or whoever, and it's letting the night roll.
I knew that's where you were going.
Yeah. And so it reminds me of my dad. My dad has this 1986 Chevy, and so I'm thinking about the Chevy.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, the song means so much other stuff, but I'm thinking about the Chevy. And so
rolling. You just rolling.
Oh yeah, I'm rolling. I mean, the thing ain't got no air conditioning. It ain't got nothing. I just beat up, but it's my dad,
Right.
And so I'm just rolling in it. And so when Justin hits that and he talks about that Chevy, I think about climbing up in that Chevy, man.
That's awesome.
I love it.
Well, buddy, thank you for doing this. I appreciate the time.
Absolutely.
I hate that I missed you this past weekend, but what a great way to cap off I'm sure it was just crazy as hell there all week, but what a great way to do it. And like you said, we finally wrapped a bow on it, and
right.
Everything lined up and good for the team. They capitalized, and some really good momentum. I don't think we're going to win every game this year, but I think outside of a couple games, we got a chance in about all of them. So.
Yeah. Well, be proud, man. It's finally coming around for you. I know how much you love the Arkansas Razorbacks. I know how much you love the state, and I'm so glad, man, you can get a big win like that, because I know that makes you feel good. And JR, we'll see y'all at some point in time, but but y'all tough to deal with.
Oh yeah, hey, it comes and goes. Some days are better than others. I remember the DMAC days. I remember when y'all didn't even have to have a quarterback. Y'all just line it up, run it up the gut. What nothing we could do. I remember those years. But anyway, yeah, Quinn, thank you for your time, man. Dude, we appreciate you coming on. Like I told everybody earlier, go to Quinn Grovey 4 on Twitter. Check him out. We're going to post links on our stuff to find out about his show. Y'all make sure to check that out. Very cool that you do and all that. And we want to, like I said, next time, anytime you want to get on or next time we have another big game like this, we ought to circle back. I know who y'all got this week. What's the game? Who's your game?
We got Georgia Southern.
Okay, so we'll see how everybody responds. You never know. Saban was not happy with us playing Mercer this past week, which he isn't ever. But you never know. You can't let up. There's no room for error. You know what I mean? Make those runs. I think you guys are on the right track. I look forward to watching every week and hearing you call them. And we'll talk to you soon, brother. We appreciate you, Q.
I appreciate y'all having me on. Anytime y'all want to chop it up, talk a little ball, music, whatever, man, I'm available. Just let me know.
Love it. Thanks, brother. Hell, I'll talk to you here in about a half hour.
That's right.
So.
That's right.
All right,
I'll see you in a little bit, man.
See you, man.
All right, y'all take care.
Buddy.
All right.
I want to give a quick shout out to Bobcat Company, who really does make a job, any job that is, easier. They got everything from skid steers to compact tractors, utility vehicles, zero-turn mowers, and everything in between. Their products are designed to make your lives easier. I like that. Which means spending more time with your family and doing the other fun things you love. Y'all know how big of a deal that is to me. Make sure you visit bobcat.com to see what products might be a good fit for your property. Hey, what's up, guys? Justin Moore here. I want to remind everyone out there listening that my wife, Kate, has an awesome children's clothing boutique in downtown Benton, Arkansas. It's Central Arkansas. So if you're local, come see us at 119 West South Street in downtown historic Benton, Arkansas. Again, that's 119 West South Street in Benton, Arkansas. And if you're not local, we ship everywhere. So you can find us at shopthislittlepiggy.com and see all that we have to offer, all that my wife Kate has to offer, I should say. Facebook, you can find us at shopthislittlepiggyAR. And Instagram, you can find us at shopthislittlepiggyAR. But check us out. It's called This Little Piggy. And see what we got to offer. ShopThisLittlePiggy.com.
Hi, y'all. This is Brandon Bing, singer-songwriter and whiskey maker. You're tuning into the Justin Moore Podcast. Visit EasyLiquor.com to grab your bottle of Bangtail Whiskey and join the Blue Collar Swaller family today. Follow us on all socials at Bangtail Whiskey for more news and updates. Now pour Jigger and take this a second ride with us.
Hey, gang. As y'all have heard, the Justin Moore Podcast has recently teamed up with Wrangler. Wrangler has been an icon in authentic American style around the world for more than 70 years. With a rich legacy rooted in the American West, Wrangler commits to offering unmatched quality and timeless design. As y'all have heard me and Justin talk about on here, George Strait and Alan Jackson, they're Wranglers. We wear Wranglers too. Its collections are also for men and women, children, to look and feel great, inspiring those who wear them to be strong and ready for life every day. Wrangler is available in retail stores worldwide, including brand flagship stores in Denver and Dallas, department stores, mass market retailers, specialty shops, Western outfitters, and online. For more information, visit Wrangler.com. And you know you've heard it here, and you've seen it on stage, the Justin Moore Podcast. Dang glad to be partnered up with Wrangler because we're big fans and have been for a long, long time. Can't go wrong with a nice pair of Wranglers, y'all. I wear the Wrangler Retro. Justin wears the black one some. It's my go-to. I get mine at Academy. So if you're around an Academy or just about anywhere, you can get you a pair of Wranglers, whether you want to look like George Strait, or you want to look like JM, or you want to look like me. You can get you some Wranglers, and you can do that. Whether you're in North California or South Alabama or Montana, Texas, Ohio, Wyoming, wherever, a pair of Wranglers will get the job done. Long live cowboys and plowboys. For more information, visit Wrangler.com. All right, there was Quinn Grovey, number 4, Hog legend, Hall of Fame.
Right out the hole, yeah. And just, man, not a more humble dude on the planet. Great guy. We've become really good friends over the past 10, 12 years or so, and had a lot of great times with him and his wife Stacy, and along with Kate, and just a great dude. Yeah. I mean, it just and knows his stuff. I mean, and he's so much fun. Again, I know this podcast, at least that section and that interview is a lot it's really Razorback leaning, if you will. But if you guys could just bear with me this week, we just had the biggest win we've had in a long while. And so wanted to get his take on the game and kind of see what it meant moving forward for us. And I do think there's some national relevance to it because, we heard from him about what he thinks about Texas and Oklahoma coming into the SEC and what he thinks, I guess, that game may indicate.
Right.
And so certainly they're going to have some great teams moving forward and they're going to be able to compete. But they might have bit off more than they can chew. I don't know if they know really what they're getting into because, quite honestly, I'm a Razorback fan, but I realize that we're probably in the middle of the pack of the SEC this year, and that's a dramatic improvement over what it's been. And we just manhandled them.
Yep.
I mean, so
yep. And there's
and we're inside the top 20 this week. I didn't know if you saw. We got ranked. We're 20th in the country.
Nice.
First time we've been ranked in I think 5 years.
Nice. I figured it would happen. Y'all should have just swapped with them, but that's cool.
Pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Well, I don't know what I'm more excited about. We're in the top 20 or we knock them completely out.
Right. Well, I think it's about 50-50 knowing you, or maybe even edge out, horns down. Yeah, but you're right. I mean, and you guys do. Y'all are big and tough and physical, but you know as well as I do, there's 4 or 5 other teams in the SEC that are as big and physical as well. They're going to have a. I mean, they're not going to jump in here and it's not Big 12 competition anymore.
Yeah, and specific to this year, I mean, I mentioned when we were on with Quinn, I did for the SEC fans out there, I did a SEC podcast with Jacob Hester, who was a great running back at LSU years ago. They won a national championship in 2007 when he was there. Really good player, good guy, really good guy. You know he's a good guy if I'm saying that about an LSU guy. And Chris Doring, who's another good guy, played at Florida under Steve Spurrier. But I was on with him for about 45 minutes last night. And, I was telling them when we're talking about look, Alabama and Georgia are in a league all their own right now. Alabama, at least for the last 10, 12 years. But this year, those two are a step above everybody else in the league. But I'm going to tell you what, everybody expects Florida to be the one in the East to compete with Georgia. From what I've seen, I think it's Kentucky, man. They look pretty stout.
Yep.
Pretty tough. They can stop the run. They're physical. They can run the ball. Their quarterback, who's a transfer from Penn State, can throw the ball. Man, they look good. They look good.
Yeah, I agree. Well, we're going to find out this week because we got Florida this weekend. So
y'all got Florida. And somebody actually, speaking of Penn State, is going to Penn State.
Auburn.
Let me look that up. Auburn.
Yep.
Auburn.
And Auburn scored a bunch of points. So.
And Auburn's looked good the first couple of weeks, but they've not played anyone. They've played a couple of cupcakes. I mean, no disrespect to those teams, but so we'll see. Because Penn State's good. Yep. Penn State won the first game this year against, I believe it was Wisconsin, which is a great team. And
Wisconsin.
So Auburn will have their hands full for sure. We'll see really what Auburn is. I mean, I don't think we have a really good understanding yet.
Right.
But
yeah, I agree.
anyway.
Yeah, you mentioned that the other night on the bus. Kentucky does look good. And, that's SEC football. It all shuffles around. There's always a bunch of good teams. It's not really top heavy. It's just top hard hitters. It's like the few at the very top are just it's the best teams in the country. Always is, or at least right there at it. And in pro football, I got to watch a little, but I was traveling and things like that, so I didn't get on as much. Watched a little Monday night last night. My Saints won. Big first game for Jameis Winston for the Saints.
Did you get to watch that game?
I listened to it on the radio, some of it on the way home from the fly. I was flying during it. Sharice was not happy.
They looked really good.
Yeah.
Really good. I mean, they just beat the tar out of Green Bay.
Yeah, dominated.
I mean, dominated them.
Did you watch the Steelers game?
I didn't get to watch it because when we got home, I had a couple of things I had to do, and Just missed it.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be there this week, so we'll get to see some of the game this week.
But yeah, Steelers won, and from all that I've read and listened to, everybody seems to be really, really high on their defense. And, last year Ben Roethlisberger came back from injury the year prior and did, I thought, pretty good for the most part. But everybody said this is the best he's looked in a number of years, at least through the first game. So if the defense looks really good like everybody says and he looks good, I think Najee Harris had a pretty solid game. I don't think he had but maybe 40, 50 yards.
He didn't give me no points on fantasy.
But
I should have started Damian Harris.
They said he looked pretty good. I tell you who you should have started if you had him was damn Jalen Hurts.
I did.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah.
Did he probably did real good for you then, huh?
Oh yeah. Let me see. Let me go to this.
Because the Eagles put it on whoever they played. I forget.
Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, this is Jalen Hurts got me 34 points. Derrick Henry only got me 7.5. Najee got me 4.5. Jared Jeudy 10. Julio only got me 3.5. Hunter got me 4.5. Josh Jacobs got me 15.5. He had a good night running the ball, but not many yards. Had 2 touchdowns though. He split time with Kenyon Drake. Kenyon got to play a lot more than I thought he was going to. C.J. Mosley only got me 3. But then on the bench though, Damian Harris 13, Jalen Waddle 14, Henry Ruggs 4, Tua 17, Devonta Smith 16, Marlon Humphrey 8.5. Should have been starting Marlon Humphrey. Landon nothing, and OJ didn't get to play much in Tampa Bay. They threw it to Gronk 100 times. But all across, I mean, Amari Cooper had 34.5. For Dallas, Amari Cooper had a huge. But I didn't have him. That's what I'm saying. All these people caught onto my game of picking all Alabama players, so now they all pick Alabama players, which is fine with me. Calvin Ridley had 7.5. Anyway, but yeah, I didn't get to watch as much as I wanted to because I was traveling, but it was great to see, like we were talking about college football earlier. It was great to see NFL stands full, and I know people were excited about that, except for the people in I think it was the Redskins stadium had a sewage leak on one of the sections of their stadium. I saw that on. Oh gosh,
could you imagine waiting all this time to go back to watch your team play and you can't go because there's a sewage leak?
Yeah, they're in the stands and it's like the overhang above them. Water just starts coming down. It's sewage. It's like something broken a toilet or something. And so all this big section, probably 30 people are trying to back out and scatter out from the benches where they're sitting.
Smell like shit.
TT. And the game's going on. Like, you hear the game going in the background. These people are like, there's literally doo-doo falling by while they're trying to do their deal.
Dang.
And we got to mention, too, about the cat down in Miami. They caught an American flag. That was amazing.
Crazy.
Yeah, for sure. But this
almost
week,
like that was drawn up.
I know. And, man, poor cat. You're just so nervous. And then, thank goodness, it worked out. But, yeah, we had a good time this past weekend on the road. Kansas City, Power and Light District never disappoints. Big show there.
What a cool spot.
Yeah. And then we actually ended up going to Fayetteville that morning. Then of the game on the 11th, and then went to Council Bluffs, Iowa, played a show there. That's always fun. Big crowd there, a lot of fun. And then we both got to come home. But this week, as this airs, we'll be in Sylvania, Ohio tonight. Tomorrow night we'll be in Allegan, Michigan. And then we'll be in, I think it's Wild Wings Park in Washington, Pennsylvania on the 18th this Saturday night. And then I think me and you going to go over and you're going to make a special appearance at the Steelers game Sunday, sing a little something for the pregame.
Yeah, so for those out there that'll be at the Steelers game this weekend, I'll be out there. And we did it 2 or 3 years back, and we're going to do a song pregame, and that'll be pretty neat. As a Steelers fan, it's always fun to do that. And but, yeah, it was great. And this past weekend, I didn't get to go to my game, but we were there early in the morning and did a couple of TV spots. One was Marty and McGee. We had Marty Smith on as a guest back in season
2, I think.
One or two, something like that. And so good to catch up with him, and got to see Coach Pittman and say hey and hug his neck, and then got to do the picks on SEC Nation with Tebow and Roman Harper, Jordan Rogers,
Paul Feinbaum,
Rutledge, Paul
Laura
Feinbaum.
Rutledge. Yeah, we got to talk to Paul before the show. That was neat. I'd never met Paul before.
Yeah.
And Tebow, he was cool.
Yeah,
Tebow wants to come to a show. He said, what was the song? Heaven Wasn't So Far Away?
Yeah, that and Beta Hook.
Of course.
So, yeah, and we made some good connections there, and hopefully get some of those guys on the podcast. I know we talked to a couple of them about it. So
yeah, Feinbaum said he would do it, so that'd be cool to have him on. What do y'all think about that? Justin Moore Podcast Nation, hashtag Justin Moore Podcast. Let us know what you think about that. Yeah, I got to fist bump Roman Harper on the way to the set and gave him a hoot at. He gave me a hoot at back, so that was cool. Didn't get to talk to him. It was so quick we were in and out. I wish we could have stayed longer, but that's how those things are. You know, the place was starting to fill up. It was going to be a packed house that night. The parking lot was filling up. So we barely got out when we could. We made the show. It was awesome. It's great to get to do that. Like I said, this week we're back on the road. Then next week we're going to be in Bismarck, North Dakota, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Week after that, beginning of October 1st, we're in Pikeville, Kentucky, and Hanahan, South Carolina on the 2nd, and Danville, Virginia on Sunday the 3rd, playing with our old buddy Toby Keith, the old big dog daddy himself. So y'all check that out on justinmooremusic.com. You can find all Justin's tour dates, where we'll be going, when we'll be there, how you can get tickets, all that fun stuff. You can find links to this podcast, all his music videos, merchandise page, any kind of social interactions, any of that kind of stuff you can find on justinmooremusic.com. So y'all make sure to check that out and go get you some tickets now while there's some. These shows been filling up, so get you some good seats while you can. And thank y'all, as always, for joining us on the Justin Moore Podcast. I know we kind of jumped into it quick this week and didn't get to do our normal pattern, but it was just we're first time at home trying to get it done, and we had Quinn for a little while, and Justin's busy since the Hogs had such a big win. So glad to get to spend a little time with you guys and gals out there in podcast land today. Y'all make sure to tune in every week to the Justin Moore Podcast. Use the hashtag Justin Moore Podcast. Rate, like, subscribe, hit the notification button, leave us a review, all that fun stuff. Sure helps us out a lot. I'm JR the Handler on Instagram and Twitter, jrthehandler.com. You can check my stuff out. I also have links to all the videos from the podcast and all that kind of fun stuff on there, too. I got some swag up, so check that out. Holler at us using the hashtag Justin Moore Podcast. You got any questions or comments? I haven't forgot about these. I'm just logging them back. When I get still, I'm going to compile them all to a nice list of the ones we've done and haven't done over the past month or so, and we'll have a big Q&A session somewhere from the road probably this coming up month, so y'all keep sending those in. We appreciate it. Good to talk with everybody. I know I had some shout-outs I probably need to get to, but just didn't get to get them in today. But I promise you guys and gals I'll get y'all next week. So we appreciate y'all. I'm JR the Handler. That was Justin Colmore. Thanks to number 4, Quinn Grovey, Arkansas legend, jumping on with us today to chop it up about some football. Sure is good to have football back, ain't it, Just?
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. It's like there's 2 seasons, football season and not football season. So glad to be in it. Happy belated birthday to you. Thanks, and happy birthday to Reese today.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah,
what y'all got going today?
Oh man,
dinner and
I don't know. It's over. I was supposed to go out on the boat today, but it's been overcast all day. And I went and got some brunch this morning. We got some champagne. Might hang out in the pool. I don't know. We went out last night and had a celebration of life for my friend who passed away last week. Shout out Ballard and all his family. Love you, buddy. See you soon. So we did that yesterday and got to see a bunch of our friends and family we hadn't seen in a while. It was almost like a homecoming because I hadn't seen some people since the beginning of the pandemic, just for people from out of town and things. So we had that at the Floribama yesterday evening, so it was good to see a bunch of people and celebrate him. So we did that last night, stayed out and did our thing as usual, ended up at the sloop down the street. And so we kind of taking it easy for this part of the day, but you never know. We may go out to eat tonight, or if the weather will clear up, ideally I'd like to take the boat over to the Floribama Yacht Club and just eat on the beach would be what I want to do.
Yeah, there you go.
So what about you guys? What do y'all got going on at home? I know y'all got schools back in action at home. You got to get back on the road. Yeah. You're talking Arkansas to everybody this week, I'm sure.
Yeah, I've been doing ever since I got home, man. I've just been contacted by so many people to do podcasts and interviews on radio shows, and which is great. Yeah, I'm trying to just unplug after this. I've got to do Quinn's podcast, as we discussed, and then I have to do another Razorback podcast after that. But then hopefully here in the next couple of hours, I'll be able to calm down. I may have a cocktail, and I'm going to cook tonight. I haven't cooked in so long. I'm just going to cook something tonight. I don't even know what.
Just cook something.
So I'm excited about that. Yeah.
There you go. All right. Well, everybody come see us at the Centennial Terrace in Sylvania, Ohio tonight, the 16th. Tomorrow night, Allegan County Fair in Allegan, Michigan, and Wild Wings Park this Saturday night in Washington, PA. Check out justinmooremusic.com for links to all of our shows where you can get tickets and all that fun stuff. Thank y'all for tuning in to this week's installment of the Justin Moore Podcast. And we'll see you guys and gals next week. Thanks, y'all.
Later. Hey guys, today's podcast is sponsored by Bobcat Company. Check them out at bobcat.com.
For any of you first-time listeners out there, at the end of each of our episodes, I like to do a little reading out of a book I've had that I've got a lot of use out of over the years. The book is by Mr. Charlie Daniels, and the book is called Let's All Make the Day Count, The Everyday Wisdom of Charlie Daniels. Number 20, Firm Foundations. And when the flood arose, the stream beat vehemently upon that house, and could not shake it, for it was founded upon a rock. Luke 6:48. Make the first row you plow straight as an arrow, otherwise the whole field will be crooked. This is an old farming adage that's so true. If the first row you plow is crooked, then all the other rows will have to follow it in the same pattern, and the whole field will look like a mishappen and haphazardly. No farmer worth his salt is willing to let that happen. John Boylan, the record producer we had the most success with, had a saying, no amount of overdubbing can fix a bad track, meaning that if the rhythm track, the foundation, bass, drums, etc., is flawed, no matter how brilliant the guitar solos are or how great the vocals are, the foundation is flawed, so the whole record will be flawed. It can become extremely tedious and nerve-wracking doing the same thing over and over again, like laying down a rhythm track that will be the underlying bass and the shoulders the whole song will stand on. But when it's finished and you're listening to the playback, you realize that it was worth every lick. Doing it until you get it right can be a tough thing, but always, without a doubt, the right thing. Make a firm foundation before you ever start raising the roof. Our lives are that way too. If we allow ourselves to be poorly educated, develop detrimental habits at a young age, or evolve into a sloppy work ethic, our foundations are built on sand and will not withstand the heavy storms of life. We should lay our foundations carefully after first seeking solid ground. Measure twice, cut once. Let's all make the day count.